Take a walk with destiny. Walk on the trail of your life. Live your soul's purpose. Hosted by Jessica Joins, each show is dedicated to revealing your true calling and living a life of fulfillment. Each guest brings inspirational stories that help clear the way for your higher calling. You can listen to her show once a month on the uimediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM, WTTA 101.2 FM, Talk10FM.com, Facebook Live on United Intentions, Spreaker, and many other platforms. Want to join the conversation? Call in now at 678-495-4345. So let's unwind, rest your mind, and let your spirit free to find your soul purpose.
Hello and welcome to Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins, the show where we help you uncover and start living your soul's true purpose. I am your host, Jessica Joins, and we have a great show for you today. I am so excited. I want to first give a shout out and say hello to all of our friends who are tuning in from WDJY 99.1 FM. Also to our friends from WTTA 101.2 FM in Kentucky and Ohio. Welcome. Welcome to our first show of 2020. I am excited about this year. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, how this new decade has been going for you so far, but I feel such an incredible energy. It really feels that it's going to be an incredible year for so many of us, a real reset, a real opportunity to step into living the life of your dreams, of course, is what this show is all about. So I hope that the year has been treating you well so far. I hope that you are feeling as energized as I am and excited about everything that is going to come. Because you set your destiny, you determine your life. You are the one responsible for creating the life that you want. And I feel that this is the year to do it. I also want to say happy MLK Day. And I wanted to read one of my favorite quotes from Dr. Martin Luther King. And this quote is, "Use me, God. Show me how to take who I am, who I want to be, and what I can do, and use it for a purpose greater than myself." You know, that quote it's really everything that I care about. It's everything that this show is about. I believe it's everything that we're truly here to learn how to do, to get ourselves out of the way and allow ourselves to step into our soul mission, our life calling, using who we are uniquely as an individual to really serve in a higher way. I always say your purpose isn't to earn a paycheck. It is to step into the true and highest potential for your life. And we have a guest on today who has done that in spades. Stephanie Olson's going to be on here in just a little bit, founder of Atlanta-based company We Are Rosie. She's going to talk all about not only what it means to step into living your soul purpose, but how to build a successful soul purpose business, because this woman has done it. But before we bring her on, we're going to do our segment that we do at the start of each show. And for this January 20th, 2020, wow, a lot of 2 O's there. The 6 soul purpose truths about today's show's topic, building a soul purpose business. Okay, so you ready? So here you go. Soul purpose truth number 1. It is about you getting clear on who you are and what you care about. That is the key to stepping into uncovering your soul purpose and building a soul purpose business. And part of that is understanding that the experiences in life you've had are no accident, that they are usually clues about the unique way that you are meant to serve. So understanding this, understanding who you are and what you truly care about is one of the most important first steps. Soul purpose truth number 2, a soul purpose business is about being mission aligned with where you feel called to serve. So honoring the calling and not fixating so much on the how. It's different than just building a business that you think you have a good idea about. It is about feeling a deep calling within and honoring it each and every single day in every moment. It is about knowing that this business is to serve a higher purpose. And that takes us to soul purpose truth number 3. Building a soul purpose business isn't about a business plan per se. I know that's going to ruffle some feathers, but it is about following the path of the breadcrumbs of resonance. It is about you honoring where you feel resonance, where you feel an intuitive calling towards. It's not about figuring it out. It's not about necessarily sticking to the plan. It's about acknowledging that there's something greater at play, which takes us to soul purpose truth number 4. A soul purpose business isn't about playing by established rules. It's about creating your own. So when you're building a soul purpose business, your heart, your intuition, that is the North Star. Not what people say, not what all the different rules are that are out there, because most of those rules are actually tied to fear. A soul purpose business is about honoring the calling, honoring the resonance you feel in, even when it doesn't make sense, placing that at the greatest and most importance, which takes me now to soul purpose truth number 5, treating the universe as your partner. Respecting the divine flow is absolutely crucial when you're building a soul purpose business. Treating the business almost as a living, breathing consciousness in and of itself. And really knowing that it's not just you and it's not just your employees per se, it's about a larger force at play. And finally, and as always, soul purpose truth number 6, we are all here to learn how to step into living our life's calling. No one is exempt. No one is exempt. You have a soul purpose calling. And this year, I believe, is the year for you to really step into it if you haven't already. And so with that, I would love to say a little bit about our guest who's coming on. She's just a badass, I got to tell you. Stephanie Olson, she is the founder of We Are Rosie. And let me just tell you a little bit about this incredible woman. She is an advertising executive. She founded We Are Rosie in 2018 based on a pure, authentic understanding of what it feels like to not belong. Her life experience as the daughter of a refugee has driven her affinity and advocacy for marginalized groups. And We Are Rosie is a manifestation of her soul's calling to create a better way to do business by focusing on the people doing the work. And with that, I would love to bring Stephanie on our show. Welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Thank you, Jessica. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
We are so thrilled to have you. So just so everyone has a little context, I know this woman quite well. We first got introduced when she came to my first Women's Purpose Retreat, which I've talked a lot about on the show. And we just hit it off right away. I've had the pleasure to get to coach you a little bit. Not that you need it, because I learned so much from you. I learn so much from you all the time. And that's why I was so excited to have you on. So for our audience, can you just start by telling everyone a little bit about what We Are Rosie is and what the mission is of it?
Of course. So We Are Rosie is at its core a flexible talent strategy for marketing companies, large and small. The way that we're able to provide this flexible talent is that we aggregate and gather up all of the people that want to work in an independent or modern way for whatever reason. Maybe it works better for their life. Maybe they have moved into or out of a major market. And for whatever reason in their life, it makes sense for them to work independently or in a freelance capacity. Historically, it's been very difficult for these folks to find work and opportunity that would give them both the career that they want and the flexibility and independence that makes sense for their life and for them to be happy and fulfilled. And We Are Rosie really comes in to help connect all of these, this incredible freelance independent talent with opportunity to work with some of the biggest brands in the world in a way that makes sense for them.
And And I've talked a lot about it on the show, and it's a part of my story. I talk about it in my book. We both come from the marketing and advertising industry. And I know that, we are Rosie in its current form, that's the industry it serves. But the story, what I felt, a lack of flexibility. When I was in the corporate environment, I felt trapped every day. And I know that's not unique to marketing and advertising. And so what I ask you is, has the corporate world gotten it wrong, or are we just changing as human beings?
I think it's both. Historically, I generally look back at the generations before us and what they were able to accomplish. And I look at, what our parents were able to accomplish and their parents were able to accomplish. And it wasn't that long ago that we were at the Industrial Revolution, where everybody needed to be in the same place at the same time, doing work side by side. Well, technology has advanced the pace of work and the type of work that we're doing so significantly over the past, 100 years. But the way that we imagine work and we think about work getting done hasn't caught up with the times. And so I feel like work has gotten it wrong, certainly. And the way that we have human beings doing work now is functionally broken, and it doesn't make space for people to be their whole selves and to work in a way that makes sense and is fulfilling. And I also think that we're kind of at this interesting place in humanity where people are able to speak up and out about what they want in their lives and the type of work that they want to do. I think that the younger generations are really pushing this agenda forward, and I'm really thankful for them. And they're frankly able to have conversations that the generations before them weren't able to have. So I think it's a little bit of both, Jess.
Okay. So let's do this before we talk more about We Are Rosie. I want to go back to the beginning. This is going to be a big question, and we're going to break it down. But, what was your experience? What were the experiences you had in life that you believe led you to starting this incredible company?
Yeah, to your point in the intro, Jess, I think when I look back at it in retrospect, every single thing that's happened in my life has led me to this point. And I didn't see the big picture until I got here, but it's really incredible to look back at all of the experiences that have gotten me here running this business, serving this group of people. And I think there's some big moments in my life that really stand out for me. If we really want to go back, you mentioned it as well. Listen, my dad grew up in a refugee camp. He came to the U.S. and Atlanta specifically in the 70s to build a better life and to create opportunity for his children. Neither of my parents went to college, and I've watched them work incredibly difficult jobs and work really hard to create opportunity for our generation and me and my brother and my sister. And I think being raised by a family that includes a refugee component, my family's both also really diverse in terms of my dad being Arabic, my mother is American, my dad is Muslim, my mother is Christian. I've been in this unique position my entire life to see both sides of a lot of coins and to really appreciate differences in people. I've also, just like a moth to the flame, I'm incredibly attracted to people that are marginalized or underrepresented, underestimated. That's like something that really lights me up to see groups of people that are underestimated. And I love being able to support them. Earlier in my life, that looked a lot different than the work I'm doing today. As an advertising executive, I worked a very traditional job and had a very traditional career trajectory my entire life. And I always kind of kept my soul work to the side. And I always kind of thought that's just how it had to be, right? And so I did things like start the Atlanta Refugee Supper Club, which connected recently resettled refugees in Atlanta with host families. And that really lit me up. It was a way to combine kind of those two cultures and bring them together. And I've done work with mothers who have postpartum depression and anxiety as someone who experienced that myself as well. Certainly at the time, I didn't realize that that was part of my journey in getting me where I'm going, but it was something that I have a lot of gratitude for now. Because again, it's helped me really empathize with others and have the compassion that I'm able to inject in our business now.
Wow, that's incredible. It just goes to show to your point, and we'll talk about it a little bit more when we come back from our first break here. But I think it's true. I've had the same experience. The more I step into my soul purpose work, it's like I start to see like everything led, like there were no exceptions. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah.
But You know what? We're going to go to our first break. And when we're back, we're going to talk more with Stephanie Olson. Again, this is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. We'll be right back. Hi, I'm Jessica Joins, author, spiritual coach, and inspirational speaker. Understanding your soul purpose is the most important work you will ever do. It's the key to unlocking your true potential and happiness. And that's why I'm so happy to announce that you now have the opportunity to have your most important soul purpose questions answered by me live on air. That's right. I'll tackle your most important questions about how to step into living your life's true calling on my show, Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. So if there are big questions or challenges you've been wanting answers to help with your soul purpose journey, here's your chance. Write to me at contact@uimedianetwork.org and you might get a chance to be featured on my show. Welcome back. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins, and we're talking with Stephanie Olson. By the way, you can now watch and listen to all exclusive and uncensored content 24/7 at uimediaapp.com. And we would love to take your questions live right now. So if you have a question for Stephanie or myself, you can call in right now at 678-495-4345. And finally, I hope that you'll connect with us online. You can follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spreaker, and other podcasting platforms as UI Media Network. And as you just saw in that commercial break, I am now offering a new segment, which we're going to tee up at the end of today's show, where I will be bringing one or two people on live each show who have soul purpose challenges and want some live coaching on air. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope that you'll take part in that and you can follow the details that were mentioned. So we're back with Stephanie Olson. Stephanie, we were talking about how your experiences have really led you to this point. And just to clarify our audience, when did you found We're Rosie? In 2018?
Yeah, it was in March of 2018. Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what was the impetus to start the company?
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of things. I don't think that there's a very specific answer, but I'll talk a little bit about a few of the things that kind of prompted me to take the leap, because it was scary. It was a big leap for sure. I have two little girls at home. They're now 4 and 6. At the time, they were 1 and 3. And I decided to walk out of corporate America, and just very similar to you. It's funny how our paths have aligned for sure. But I just decided that a traditional career path and working in a corporate environment within advertising was not the life that I wanted to live. And I looked at my daughters and I kind of had this flash of like, is this what the next 50 years of my life is going to look like? And is this what I want for my life? And I had a little bit of an existential crisis, and I quit my job. And at the time, I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I knew that there was something greater for me to be spending my time and energy and focus on. I also knew that with the birth of my daughters, I felt an incredible responsibility to take the platform that I've been given as, one of the first members of my family to be college educated, as somebody who's been really successful in the business world, who had the privilege and gift of having enough money in the bank to quit my job with 2 small children, and to use all of that to further, further the gifts that I leave on the earth, right? And the gifts that I'll leave for my daughters as they grow up as well. And so that was really what prompted me to quit my job and figure out what my soul purpose really looked like, and to do that soul searching that, frankly, I don't think I could have done while I had a full-time job. For me, at least, I needed that clean break, and I needed the mental space to decompress from corporate America and really, start considering what made me feel alive and how I could use my gifts to help others.
That's interesting, because I have known you for a while and I actually didn't realize that, because our journey in that is the exact same, actually. I always thought you had the idea before you quit, but instead you, like me, had to quit and leave that inflexible environment to kind of go within and start to meditate, you will, on what your purpose was,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
I mean, in retrospect, right, I was kind of iterating on this idea with the Refugee Supper Club, right, with Syrian refugees, where I was helping to connect and provide access for marginalized groups of people. I mean, that's essentially what I'm doing at We Are Rosie now. It's just a different group of people, and it's different context, and it's happening within the corporate environment. But
And
I didn't realize that until I kind of
yeah.
started the business.
And, you just said something else that, We Are Rosie. Yes, it's for people that the corporate structure as it is, doesn't work for whatever reason, but it's also with an emphasis on the marginalized audiences. So maybe those that are getting passed over. Is
Yeah.
that correct?
Yeah,
Can you
for
talk a little
sure.
bit about that?
Yeah, I think I can speak about the advertising industry specifically. It's really the only industry that I've ever worked in, for better or worse. But I think that there are a lot of people that are marginalized and overlooked within this space for a million different reasons on a million different days. And it really is not exclusionary, the amount of discrimination and kind of marginalization that happens in advertising. And it can range from everything from age, race, gender, sexual orientation, discrimination. Sadly, the advertising industry is constantly in the news about challenges in creating a welcoming and inclusive environment in the workspace. And then I think as we've had more caregivers enter the workforce, we have more women in leadership positions. The advertising industry has frankly struggled to create a space with flexibility that would allow prospective caregivers to do the things that are required as a whole human being while also working. And so there's no shortage of underrepresented or marginalized groups of people for us to serve at We Are Rosie. And we consider it a privilege to have the opportunity to connect them with work, for sure.
Mm. And again, I know you're very vocal in talking about your experience of coming from a family of refugees. And before we go forward, I want to go back a little bit deeper, because now, like, that's at the forefront of why you do what you do, and you own it in who you are,
Yeah.
unapologetically. I've seen you do that. But I think, if correct me if I'm wrong, when you were younger, that wasn't always the case. You felt like
Yeah.
you had to be better. Can you talk a little bit about that and how that spiritual lesson actually is what that's been like for you from
Yeah.
where you were as a kid to now?
It's so true. And I've written about this a little bit as I've come to terms with it and really started to respect and appreciate who I am as a whole human, and my background and where I've come from. My name is Stephanie Olson, right? And so since I've been married, I've been able to kind of float through life, and nobody really asks questions about where I come from. My maiden name is Natty. So as I was growing up, people weren't quite sure where that name came from. And so people just kind of assumed that I was Italian. And I had this great gift of being able to share my heritage when it suited me and to not share it when I didn't want to. And I realized that is an incredible gift and privilege that neither my brother nor sister had, who they both have very Arabic names. And, I kept it a secret. Like I really wasn't comfortable being other. I wasn't comfortable being different than other people. I wasn't comfortable coming from a family where everybody wasn't college educated and didn't have a trust fund. I grew up around people that were very different than me and had families that looked very different than mine, and they didn't have Muslim parents. And so I was, if I'm being honest, when I was younger, I was ashamed of who I was, and I felt other, and I internalized that into a lot of self-worth things that I've had to work through as I've grown as a human. But, now I'm just so proud of it. Like, I am so proud of the opportunity that I've been given and that I am able to stand on the shoulders of those who came before me and the enormous sacrifices that they made to allow me to be here and share my gifts with the world on a platform that they could have never even imagined was possible. To think about my dad living in a refugee camp and being orphaned at such a young age. I'm like, I often look back and I'm like, what would my grandparents think if they could see me now here in America, able to accomplish what I can, frankly. And And it's such a gift. And I really, as I've come to embrace more and more where I come from and to love and have so much gratitude for both of my parents and everything they've sacrificed for me, I realize like I'm not going to waste this chance that I've been given. I'm not going to sit idly and not find my soul purpose and not leave the world better than I found it, because the people that came before me didn't have this opportunity that I have.
That's beautiful. So let's switch gears a little bit. What is it? Because the show happens to be titled Soul Purpose.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you to have your soul purpose? When did you start coming into awareness of that? What's that experience been like of what it means to you?
I think what it means to me is to really be living your life in flow every day. And I didn't know this concept. I didn't understand it inherently the way I do now, because I have not been in flow for most of my life, right? And the way that I look at my career and my job and how I make money and how we support our family has always been like, this is hard, inflexible, unpleasant, potentially at times, not in flow vibes, right? And like that's how work happens. And since I started this company, even though I wasn't using the language like we use today, Jess, like I wasn't using language like soul purpose and what lights you up and how do you follow the energy the way that I do today, I was doing all of those things. Mm-hmm. And I was making this decision to kind of surrender to the universe and to follow the energy and to learn to trust my intuition and do the work that does light me up. And I think being able to do that every day, the way that best way I can describe it is that it's frictionless. And that when I feel friction, I know that there's something that I need to like kind of peel back or pump the brakes and figure out why that's happening. But I think when you're living in your soul purpose, that's the gift that you're given, right? This kind of frictionless existence and this in-flow existence that you don't have otherwise. So for me, It's been an evolution, but and it's something. It's hard work. I really have to. It's like exercising a muscle.
Yeah, no, the same. It's like I always say, like I was doing this, but it took me a long time to have the vocabulary for it. Right? What are some of the things that you've let go of that were causing friction, like the old Stephanie?
Yeah.
What have you let go of?
The old Stephanie thought that money was freedom. So coming from a family that had to work really hard to be middle class, and from a family, from the generation prior that just didn't have anything, I kind of got it in my head at some point in my life that money solved all the problems and that if I could just work harder and make more money, then everything would be okay and I would be happy and I would have security. And, so that's definitely something that's changed. I also thought that like work had to be painful, that in order to be successful, that you had to go through really painful experiences and do things that you didn't want to do and be around people that you didn't want to be around. And those were kind of the lies that I was telling myself for many, many years, that life was meant to be hard. Right. And so that's certainly a mind shift that has happened in the last 2 years for me.
And so just letting this idea that like money or success is the same as suffering. It's not that you don't work hard or do hard work, but it's removing this element and this idea of suffering that you had going with it, right? Yeah. And then anything else that you just like comes up in your mind that you're like, I used to do this and now I do this, in terms of like having this frictionless existence?
I used to be a pretty negative person in terms of just the thoughts in my head. And I am now such a firm believer that your thoughts create your reality. And I'm so aware of that. And I teach it to my kids, right? Like it's incredible to have these conversations with a 4 and 6-year-old. But that has been a huge shift for me. I used to be like, oh, I have to do this. And now I'm like, oh, I get to do this, right? Like this is a privilege. Life is a privilege. Every day is a gift. And, it's my responsibility to make it something that I really love and enjoy. I think that's been a really big shift for me in terms of just coming from a place of gratitude every day. And now I really don't even open my eyes in the morning without doing a daily gratitude practice.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it. So we're going to be right back. More with Stephanie Olson. When we come back, this is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins.
Also known as the Healer in Heels, and I am so excited to bring to you a rare opportunity to experience a dynamic healing in person with me. I am here at Batch, where we are going to hold this event, and it is going to be amazing. During this 2-hour group healing, I am going to remove all those things that are holding you back in life, and then I'm going to set your energy to be in alignment for achieving your goals. I am a natural-born energy healer and psychic medium who has developed my gifts and magnified them over the past 25 years. This is a rare opportunity and space is limited. Hurry and get your tickets at the link below because this event is sure to sell out. Get ready to go on a journey of transformation, and I will see you there.
Welcome back to Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. We're talking with Stephanie Olson, founder of We Are Rosie. So I want to highlight something cool. Start your journey through a transformative experience with energy healer and UI media host Monica Bay on January 25th, beginning at 12 p.m. at Bach Fitness. Join the Healer in Heels. I love that. For an introductory energy healing experience like no other, dedicated to helping you overcome the things that are holding you back so that you can live your most fulfilled life. Space is limited. So what you want to do is head over to www.monicabay.com/event to grab your tickets. And a revolution in health and wellness is taking place, and it's coming to Atlanta. Join us for BAE Summit on January 25th at the new Avalon Hotel and get a chance to interact directly with the beauty influencers and wellness warriors. That's going to be a lot of fun. And so we're back with Stephanie Olson, founder of We Are Rosie. We were just talking about what soul purpose means to you. And it was like living in this frictionless, in the flow, where you work hard, but you're not swimming upstream. You're not like going against the flow. You're respecting that there is a flow and that that's an inherent part of your business. So Stephanie, what has the first couple years of building this business been like?
Yeah.
What have you learned? What's been hard? Give us some good highlights.
Yeah. I mean, so many things. On a practical level, I tell people this all the time. I'm like, I feel like I've gotten an MBA in 2 years. I mean, I remember when I was first getting the company started and I had to go set up a business bank account and I had to get registered with the state of Georgia as a business. And I remember thinking like, I don't even know how to do these things. Who do I think I am, right? And the imposter syndrome slips in to fast forward 22 months. And we have crazy things happen all the time as this business scales and our team grows and we get to serve more and more people. And my perspective has changed so much. So it has gone really from, oh my gosh, like, who am I? There's no way I can figure this out. I don't know how to do this, to we can figure anything out. And so I've really come to rely more on this, what I call it, like your figure outer muscle, significantly more, and like to really believe that it will come through for me. And I at the same time have just learned a ton about what it means to start a business and grow a team and manifest what you want to occur in your business. Everything from the team that I want to the clients that we want, to the type of talent that we want to serve. And it's been a wild ride, but it's not been as crazy as a lot of people assume. Some interesting things that I'll share, I'm working less now than I have worked prior, in my career, in terms of hours put in. And I used to feel incredibly guilty taking time for myself, whether that's meditating or exercising or spending time in nature. I now really recognize that those are important parts of work too. And those are important parts of the creative process. I've learned that I'm a creative person. Oh my gosh, when I was trapped in corporate hell, I didn't think I was creative. I was like, oh my gosh, all I can do is math. I don't know how to think creatively. And now I'm like, wow, like I was like a creative bird that was trapped in a cage for the first 15 years of my career. So I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about what I'm capable of. But I would say, to go back to what we were just talking about, I've learned how important your perspective is on your success and what you'll achieve and what your life will look like.
And just for some perspective for the audience, we'll use some, more standard ways you evaluate success.
Yeah.
This has become a $5 million business, right?
Yeah.
In under 2 years.
Yep.
And you employ like how many? 1,000 different freelancers,
Yeah.
or we call them We Are Rosies. Can you talk a
Yeah.
little bit about that just to give a little perspective?
Yeah. From a standard metrics standpoint, in the last 22 months, we've done almost $8 million in revenue. We've built a community of 3,000 independent workers in the marketing space, ranging from former Fortune 500 CMOs and chief marketing officers that have worked at major brands, all the way to people that are a couple years out of college that are traveling the world and want to practice their craft while they're living their best life. And we now have a core team of 8 people that work at We Are Rosie, and I get the privilege of working alongside every day. And then we have our own team of Rosies, we call them Rosies, freelancers that are supporting our business as well. So our core team has grown. We're in over 40 states. We work with about 20 Fortune 500 brands that are accessing their marketing talent through the We Are Rosie community. And so from a business metrics standpoint, I mean, all systems are a go. Like as the most type A competitive person out there, I could not ask for anything more than where we are right now. The business is exceeding all of my wildest expectations, and we are cruising along, and we're exactly where we need to be.
And from working with you a bit, I know something about you, and it's what I observe in you is that you really treat this as being on a spiritual mission, and you've let go, you go with the flow. And so to like bring that into a harder truth, like you've never had a business plan. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah. There's
And
no
you have a
business plan.
manifestation channel, not a business plan, right?
Yeah, we have a manifestation channel in Slack. And we just we've all gotten in the practice of trusting our intuition and deciding what we want to manifest, whether it's a specific client, whether it's a specific revenue amount, whether it's a specific award, and it's a different model, but it all goes back to, I'm not saying that nobody should have a business plan, certainly, but I shouldn't at this point, right? Because when I think about building a business plan, I can feel the change. My energy shifts. I want to crawl under the table. I want to procrastinate. That's not where I should put my energy. And I've really learned to trust that, right? And you mentioned this also at the beginning of the show, Jess, like not looking at traditional businesses or not looking outside of We Are Rosie for the path forward, right? Really knowing who we are and what works for our business and understanding intrinsically that like that's going to look very different than what makes sense for other businesses. And that's okay. If every business looked the same, there would be no point. So I've really come to trust, like my intuition, the collective intuition of my team and those around me, but no business plans for me.
So I've always told you, I'm like, you're a master manifester. And so we're going to talk about that in a second, but part of it just clicked for me right now. And it is like, you see your purpose to keep, I'm going to call it your frequency elevated and light. And anything that weighs it down, you see it as a block to the path of abundance for the company. Am I correct in how I'm seeing that?
Oh, 100%. I couldn't agree more.
So Can you give our audience, examples of different choices you made or decisions or any tips you have about how you've literally manifested this multi-million-dollar business in less than 2 years?
Yeah, I think, when I talk about choices and things that really resonate with me, I've just refused to force anything. And I have put into the universe, I've written down, I've thought about what does the future state of this business look like? Where are we heading? And I've asked for help, right? From, the universe, which sounds wild, even saying it out loud. I haven't had a spiritual practice my entire life. I don't come from a very religious family. But I've really just been laser focused on what this business can do and how we can serve people. and the universe has delivered. And whether that is the most incredible group of people to serve on our board, whether that's specific members of my team, it's all just felt in flow. And as soon as something doesn't feel in flow, and this has meant that I've had to make some tough decisions and I've had to end certain relationships that it's been a really painful experience to go through. I've really learned to just trust my gut, because if there's friction, there's a reason for it. And I've got to stop and pause and try to figure that out.
And I think part of it, back to the MLK quote, is that you're focused on the higher impact to humanity. I'm not saying like every day you're thinking about it, though maybe you are, but can you talk a little bit about how you see your role in just stewarding this to kind of allow this impact to happen, if that resonates with you?
Yeah. I think a big part of my job as the founder of the company, and I'm not even going to say leader, because I really view every single person on my team as a leader in their own right. I think that part of my job is to create the space for the magic to happen, and to ensure that we're always focused on our North Star. And one of the things that's really interesting as you build a business, which I've not done before, is that there are a lot of shiny objects. One of them is money, right? And as your business starts to grow, more and more people start to sniff around and they start to get interested in what's happening over here with We Are Rosie. And, one of the things that I've said since I started this company is We Are Rosie is a person. She is growing. I view her as my third child. And we have to protect her energy, and we have to care for her the way that you would a child. And that includes being really mindful about the energy and people that you allow into the business and around the business. And I've made a decision to not take any funding because it has never felt resonant. I couldn't imagine bringing in an external source of money, which is energy, into this business and being able to maintain that high frequency that every single person on my team is kind of working at right now. So I've had to make some interesting decisions, some non-conventional decisions. If I really take a moment and look around at other entrepreneurs that are trying to do anything in the space, like they're very quick to take funding. But I've really just learned to rely on my intuition and to follow our own path into what makes sense for us specifically.
I love that. And, look, you talked a little bit earlier about whole self. So let's talk a little bit about that. You're a mom of two young girls. You have a great partner. What has the quote unquote balancing it all looked like for you? What's worked? Where are you still working? Because this is something, everyone deals with or, has in different ways, shapes, and forms. What kind of insights can you offer there?
Yeah, I think a lot of the pain that I've felt throughout my life has been on I've had inappropriate expectations. And so I've basically set really low expectations for balance in my life at this time. And I knew what I was getting into when I started the company. My husband, Eric, and I sat down and I said, I figured it out. Like I found this business that really resonates with me. I'm like, my energy is good. I get the chills when I think about starting it. However, this is not a lifestyle leisure business. This is a business that's going to change the world. And I'm going to need to commit an incredible amount of all of my resources, emotional, physical, to growing this business and nurturing it for the next 2 or 3 years. And it's going to be tough. I'm not going to be an equal partner in terms of taking our kids to school and picking them up and doctor's appointments. And my husband so graciously, he's the most amazing partner I could ask for. He said, Steph, go do it. I've got you. You've worked 80 hours a week since I've known you. Let's take some time and give it a year or two and see how it goes. And so, balance is there are some days are better than others. There's some things I'm better at. I'm not great at working out right now. I may go for a nature hike. I may meditate, but I am not at the gym right now. And that's just something that I'm not going to knock myself for. And it's just not really an expectation I have. And yeah.
Great, Steph. It looks like we got a caller with a question. Who do we have on air?
My name is Julie Baker.
Hi, Julie.
Hi.
What's your question?
I guess I was just interested in Oh, I'm recovering from a surgery, and I'm just trying to figure out what direction I want to go in this year.
And who's your question for Stephanie or for myself?
I think I'm open to any insight from either of you.
Okay. So, Julie, I always feel that what is your heart calling you to do? Because that's always the answer of where you're meant to focus your time, what direction you're meant to be focusing towards. So the kind of quick answer, and then we'll see if Stephanie has any input, is what is your heart telling you? Are you clear on that? Can you hear that? Because that's really the direction.
Yeah, I kind of want to follow a passion of mine, and I'm wanting to start like a YouTube channel to kind of highlight that, and then I'm also contemplating opening up a like a retail shop / restaurant that would also embody two of the things that I love.
Yeah.
So what I would do is say, follow the path. Like you can kind of pursue both and see which one gives you more resonance, which one feels more exciting, which one doors open. And then, where you feel the high vibration is where you go. Stephanie, do you have anything you want to add to this?
Yeah, I mean, Jess, I think you nailed it. I was definitely thinking very similarly about it. One thing I'll say is that when I think a lot of times when people are thinking about making a change in their life, it can feel quite overwhelming because you're thinking about the end game, right? Like owning the store and having this YouTube channel. And the advice that I often give is like, just take one step, just be in motion, moving towards it, and pay really close attention to how you feel as you're going along and where your energy is and how things are progressing. But don't feel like you have to do everything tomorrow.
Yeah, that's so good.
Yeah, no.
Julie, thank you so much for calling in. We really appreciate it. We've got to go to a quick commercial break, but we wish you the best of luck in this next year in following your heart. We'll be right back.
Does your health really matter? Join Atlanta-based chiropractor and naturopath Dr. Nelson Bulmash as he takes a fresh look at today's most interesting health topics with functional medicine's leading doctors and experts. Learn how to feed your mind, exercise your body, and nurture your spirit in the way nature intended. Catch him live every other Tuesday at 5 p.m. Eastern on WDJY 99.1 FM, on Facebook Live at United Intentions, and on the official United Intentions Spreaker channel. Consider your appointment with Dr. Bulmash booked, because your health matters.
Welcome back. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins, and a couple little things here. UI Media Network wishes everybody a happy new year and a crystal clear vision for 2020. So that's to you too, Julie. Thank you again for calling in. And also, Wake Up Conscious Way tomorrow morning with the Awaken Atlanta show, as host Tim Ray and co-host Shannon McVeigh are going to interview personal safety expert Pete Canavan, along with energy healer Monica Bay. That's tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern on the Awaken Atlanta morning show. And we're back with Stephanie Olson. So Stephanie, you've built this company. It's growing. What's next? Like, do you have a vision? Because I know you're not putting together a business plan, but what are you visioning? What's in your purview? What are you feeling as you lean into this over the next couple of years?
On a large scale, what's next is that we continue doing this as long as it's fun and as long as we are creating the impact that we want to see on the world. And I think, if anything, I've learned over the last 22 months, I don't even want to say 2 years because she's still so little, the business. But, we've proven that there is a desire for people to work in this way. There's a desire for brands to access talent in this way. And now I really see the opportunity to scale. So our North Star at We Are Rosie is always, how many lives can we touch? How many people can we provide the dignity and humanity and compassion for to give them the work that they want and the life that they want simultaneously? And I think that the answer to that is in the thousands. And we're just going to keep marching towards that North Star and continue attracting all the things we need to nurture and grow this business. But I don't have any intentions to really make any big changes. It's fun, like it lights me up, it lights the team up. So I think we're on the right path.
And really so like just to kind of paint this in a really way that hopefully people can understand, like what you're creating, and especially for those that might be listening or watching that want to become We Are Rosies or get involved, that have a marketing or advertising background. I mean, these folks are getting to choose the work they want to do. They're still getting to earn a good salary. I think you even figured out like benefits, right?
Yeah.
Because that's usually always the big obstacle with working independently. Can you just talk about like what a typical We Are Rosie consultant, freelance, whatever the term is, what their life looks like?
Yeah. So their lives look like a lot of different things. We have some Rosies who want to take the summers off. So they work really hard and they work full-time hours all year long, and then they may take summers off with their family. We have some Rosies who are currently traveling the world doing projects. We have some Rosies that have had to leave their job to go care for an elder in their family that are able to do work remotely. It can look like a million things, right? And I think overall, it's our mission is to really support these people and this talent in a way that gives them dignity. Dignity is a theme that comes up a lot in our industry and in our business specifically, because we have stripped dignity from the way from the workers in the advertising industry in so many ways, and we really want to return that. So to your point. For us, that looks like we offer full benefits, medical, dental, vision, and 401k for our Rosies. We also pay them weekly. And this can kind of get glossed over, but if you think about an independent contractor or an independent consultant doing work with a Fortune 10 brand, these companies wield a lot of power. And a lot of times their payment terms could be 90 days. And I can't imagine having Rosies out there doing work and they're not getting paid for 90 days. It's not in the theme of dignity. It's not in the theme of humanity. So regardless of the payment terms that we negotiate with the major brands that we work with, we pay our Rosies every week. So they really are able to count on that income, and they're able to plan their life accordingly. And, we're continuing to look for more ways to support them. So typically a Rosie is part of our community. They go on our website. You can go to wearerosie.com/join and join our community. Tell us about the life you want. Tell us about the work experience you have. And then as we uncover opportunities for work that makes sense for you, we reach out and then we kind of facilitate the relationship from there.
Well, it's beautiful. And I think a beautiful way to end. I think it's safe to say we would love to see this in other industries as well. So I hope you keep going and growing. But I really want to thank you for being on the show, and just really quick mention all the ways that people can connect with We Are Rosie, if you don't mind.
Yes, of course. So if you're interested in joining, you can go to wearerosie.com/join. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And you can also follow me personally, Stephanie Nadi, Nadi Olson, on all the social platforms as well.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. We appreciate the work that you're doing for the world. We love seeing people being successful and creating their soul purpose, life mission, and business. So thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Jess. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. So everyone, if you saw in the commercial break earlier, last month we launched an exciting new part of Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins, and that is where you get to write in and show us any challenges, any problems, anything you're having, anything that you would like help with as it relates to your soul purpose. And you might have the opportunity to come on live with me. For now, though, I did receive a couple letters since doing that I want to read out loud now. So I hope that you're watching today, and I'm going to just take a couple of these letters and read them out to you. The first one says, "Dear Jessica, I feel lately my life is about loss. I have lost a friend, I lost my job and my health has been suffering. And it has a WTF. It says, how can I cope with this? Warm regards. And this is from Carrie in Petaluma. So here's the thing, Carrie. I've been through a lot of different losses in my life. And the only thing that you can do is really surrender to the moment. And the good news that I want to tell you is that normally when a lot of loss is happening at once, it's to clear the way for a lot of incredible things to come in. So hang on, know that this isn't happening to you. It's happening for you in some way, for you to learn what it means to grieve, for you to let go of things that no longer serve, perhaps, so that you can step into, hopefully, your soul purpose. I thank you for writing in. And so it looks like we have time. We'll take another one. Dear Jessica, I love your show. Well, thank you. Is soul purpose always about starting your own business? I don't think of myself as an entrepreneur. What do you suggest? Signed, Carl in Akron. Thank you, Carl. And it's such a good question. No, it's not always about starting your own business. Soul purpose is about coming to know and listen to the truth that's within your heart and honoring that. Now, if your heart is calling you to start a business, like our guest talked about, then you follow that. And even like our guest said, she had no idea how to do it. Everything just showed up and worked out, because when you're following your soul purpose, the universe jumps in to give you the support that you need. The universe always shows up and gives you the support that you need. So your only job is to listen to your heart, take the next action. Listen to your heart, take the next action. That might turn into all of a sudden one day having a business. But your soul purpose might just be calling you to take a corporate job. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or wrong here. But soul purpose is getting to know what your higher self is calling you to do. Your higher self speaks to you through your heart. This will get in the way. Your voice of fear that's in your head, your ego self. And it's about listening to and honoring your heart. I'm going to take another one. Dear Jessica, can you talk more about what you mean when you say fear is our teacher and the ego's role in this? Thanks, from Mike in Atlanta. So the lesson that we are all on this planet is to listen to our heart more than we do the voice of fear in our head, which is always an illusion, if you will. The voice of fear that presents itself as the voice of reason is just there to reflect to you what needs to be healed within you. Your job in every single moment is to say no, thank you to that, and to listen to your heart, your true communication center, and follow its lead. This is a tough lesson. Again, it's the spiritual lesson that we're all here to learn. It expresses itself in different ways, but this is kind of like where the work lies. But again, anytime fear is showing up, whatever it is, instead of going, oh my God, that's true, what you want to say is, if I think of this as this fear having something to teach me, what is it reflecting to me? What needs to be healed within me? That's really how you learn it. And so again, we'll take more questions next time, but really, if you really write in, I would actually love to bring you on the show with me. So, don't be afraid to do that. So again, our next show is on February 17th. Be sure that you turn in. Be sure you write to me. You can come on live with me. We'll do live coaching on air. It'll be a ton of fun. And also, as you dive into what you're looking to achieve in 2020, everything you think you need, remember this, everything you think you need actually lives within. Get out of the energy of seeking. Instead, in your life, start acknowledging that everything you seek is already within you. And as you acknowledge that, you'll start to see your outside reality, your external reality reflect that. Thank you for a great show. Thank you again to Stephanie, our incredible guest. I'll see you next time. This is Soul Purpose with Jessica Joins. Bye-bye for now.
We hope this episode helped you take a step closer to find your soul purpose. We will be back in 3 weeks on Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern on the uimediaapp.com, WDJY 99.1 FM, WTTA 101.2 FM, Talk10FM.com, and Facebook Live on United Intentions, Spreaker, and many other platforms. Jessica Joins is happy to hear from you. So make sure you watch and share her show. And also write to her on Facebook with your comments, suggestions, and questions. Wherever you are in life, it's never too late to uncover what makes you happy. Let us help you find your soul purpose. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.